Have you ever just stopped and thought, wait, is this it? Is this what my life is supposed to look like? I think most of us have felt that at some point. And honestly, I think it's one of the most important questions we can ever ask.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Let's Talk Real English, the podcast where two people just talk about real things in real English so you can listen, learn, and maybe even feel something along the way. I'm Eric.
And I'm Lara. And today we are going somewhere a little deeper than usual, like genuinely deeper. So grab your coffee, find a comfortable spot, and come think with us for a while.
We're asking the big question. What makes a life meaningful? What makes you feel like your life actually matters? And I think that hits differently depending on who you are, where you are in life, what you've been through, right?
And if you're listening to this to practice your English, perfect. You are in exactly the right place. We keep it real, we keep it clear, and we genuinely try to keep it interesting.
Right, exactly. And we're not going to pretend we have all the answers. Philosophers have been debating this for thousands of years. So,
No pressure on us at all then, zero pressure. But what we want to do today is just explore it together. The way you might with a good friend over coffee, you know? Honest, curious, no wrong answers. So, Eric, let's start with you. When you hear the phrase, a meaningful life, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
okay, so the first thing that comes to mind for me, honestly, is connection, like relationships. When I think about the moments in my life that felt the most real, the most meaningful, it's always been about people, a conversation that went somewhere unexpected and deep, being there for someone when they really needed it, sitting with someone through something hard, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that really resonates with me.
And there's actually a lot of research on this, right? Like the Harvard Happiness Study, they followed people for like 80 years. And the main thing they found was that close relationships, more than money, more than fame, more than success, that's what keeps people happy and healthy over a lifetime. It sounds kind of simple, but it's also, I don't know, really profound when you sit with it.
That study is so fascinating to me. And what I think is interesting is that it's not even about having lots of friends, right? It's more about the quality of those connections. Like, you can know 100 people and still feel completely alone. But if you have 2 or 3 people who really get you, who you can call at 2 in the morning if something goes wrong, that's a completely different thing.
Right, that's the real thing. And I think that's something a lot of people feel, but maybe don't say out loud. That loneliness isn't really about being physically alone, it's about feeling unseen, feeling like you could disappear and no one would notice, you know?
That's such a real thing to say. And I think it connects to something else, like purpose, having a reason to get up in the morning, something that feels bigger than just going through the motions. Because I think without some kind of purpose, even good relationships can feel a little hollow, you know?
Yes, and I think purpose is one of those words that sounds really big and scary. Like, oh no, I need to find my purpose. As if it's this one specific thing buried somewhere and you have to go dig it up. But I think it can be a lot smaller and more accessible than people imagine.
Can you say more about that? Like, what do you mean by smaller?
Well, okay, I think we have this idea that purpose means doing something huge, starting a company, changing the world, becoming famous for something. And maybe for some people it is that.
Right, like it has to be this grand, life changing thing or it doesn't count.
Exactly. But for a lot of people, purpose is more like, I'm a good parent, or I make people laugh when they need it most, or I grow things in my garden and that gives me real joy. Or I'm the person in my community who always shows up. That counts, you know? That really counts.
Right. And honestly, do you think most people already know that somewhere inside? Like, they just need someone to say out loud that it's enough.
And actually, I think there's something really freeing about that idea. Like, you don't have to be extraordinary to have a meaningful life. You just have to care about something and then actually show up for that thing.
Yes, and I think that connects to something I find really interesting, the idea of small moments. Like, we spend so much time waiting for the big things, right? Waiting for the promotion, the vacation, the perfect relationship, the moment when everything finally falls into place. But I think meaning often actually lives in the small stuff: a really good laugh with a friend, a walk where you notice something beautiful, the morning routine that just grounds you.
The small stuff, yeah. And I think the tricky thing is that small moments are easy to miss if you're not paying attention. They just slip by.
And I think gratitude and contentment are kind of related, right? Like when you're genuinely grateful, you're actually present. You're really seeing what's already there. And I think that presence, just being truly in your own life, not half somewhere else, is maybe one of the most underrated parts of meaning.
Being present. I think that's genuinely so hard for people right now. Like, we're all sort of distracted all the time, scrolling while having a conversation, half listening, half living almost.
Constantly. And I think that's one of the things that makes this question of meaning so urgent right now, because we have more things to distract us than ever before. More screens, more noise, more things to compare ourselves to. And I think it actually makes it harder to feel that sense of, this is enough, this moment is enough, this is good.
And you know what's also interesting? I think hardship plays a role in this too. Like, I've heard so many people say that the hard periods of their life, the loss, the failure, the uncertainty, actually ended up being what gave them the most meaning in the end. Which sounds strange, but
No, it doesn't sound strange. I think that's really true because I think struggle, when you get through it, kind of clarifies things. It strips away all the noise and forces you to figure out what actually matters to you, what you'd fight for, what you can't live without.
what you can't live without? I think that's actually a really good question to ask yourself. Like, if you stripped everything away, what would you want to keep? What are the things that, if they were gone, you'd feel like something essential was missing?
And it's almost never things. I think that's what's interesting. When people go through something really difficult, they almost never say, I wish I had more stuff. It's always, I wish I had spent more time with my family. I wish I had done work that felt like it mattered. I wish I had been more present.
Always. And actually, there's some really powerful writing on this. There's a nurse named Bronnie Ware who worked with people at the end of their lives, and she wrote about the most common things people said they regretted. And the number one regret was, I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me,
Oh, wow, that hits hard.
right? And I think that tells us so much. Like, at the end of the day or at the end of a life, what people mourn most is not what they had or didn't have. It's whether they were honest, whether they were themselves, whether they actually showed up for the life that was uniquely theirs.
That's so powerful. Okay, so let's talk about legacy for a second, because I think it connects to everything we've been saying. Because part of what makes people feel like their life meant something is the question of, what do you leave behind?
Legacy, yes. And I think a lot of people associate it with big things, like buildings named after you, or a book you wrote, or a company you built. But I think most people's real legacy is actually about the people they touched, the way someone made you feel, the lessons you passed down without even realizing it.
Yeah, exactly. And those things outlast any building or any business, honestly.
They really do. Like my grandmother. She wasn't famous or anything. She didn't do anything the world would call remarkable. But the way she loved people, the way she listened, the warmth she had, I still feel it years later. That's her legacy. Not a monument, just the warmth she left inside the people who knew her.
That's beautiful. And that's real legacy, right? Not something carved in stone. Just the ripple effect of how you treated people. Because those ripples keep going. The kindness passes on. The lessons pass on.
The ripple effect. I love that image. And I think it also means that meaning isn't always something you see in your own lifetime. Like, you might plant seeds that you never see grow. You might say something to someone that changes their path completely, and you'll never even know it happened. And that's still meaningful, maybe even more so.
Okay, so before we wrap up, I want to bring it back down to earth for a second, because we've been talking about big ideas, and I think that's great. But I also want to ask you something more personal. What does a meaningful day actually look like for you? Like a really good, meaningful, ordinary day.
Oh, that's such a good question. Okay, personally, a meaningful day for me is when I feel like I was actually there. Like I wasn't just going through the motions. I was genuinely present in what was happening. I had a real conversation with someone, not small talk, but something that actually went somewhere.
The kind of conversation that stays with you after, you know?
Yes, exactly that. And I did something I care about, even if it was small. I noticed something good. I looked out the window and actually saw what was there, you know? It doesn't have to be dramatic, it just has to be real.
I love that. For me, I think it's when I feel connected, when I talk to someone and we really understand each other, and you walk away feeling less alone than before.
That feeling of actually being understood in a conversation, yeah, there's nothing quite like it.
Exactly. Or when I make something, write something, cook something, even just arrange flowers on a table. There's something about creating, even something tiny, that just fills me up. It makes me feel like I added something to the world, even if it was just dinner.
That makes total sense. Creation is such a deeply human thing. I mean, we are wired to make things, to put something of ourselves into the world. It's one of the ways we say, I was here.
I was here. That's kind of the whole thing, isn't it? I think that might be at the heart of it all. This need to know that we existed, that we mattered, that we were here, and it counted for something.
I think you're right. And honestly, I think that's kind of reassuring, you know? Like, you don't have to do anything enormous. It's more about actually being present in your own life, letting yourself connect with people, making things, even tiny things, caring about something. And I think letting people actually see who you are, the real you. That's sort of the whole thing, isn't it?
Okay, so to kind of bring it all together, I think what we're saying is that meaning isn't one single thing. It's more like it's woven out of all these different threads, you know? The people who matter to you, the things you genuinely care about, the moments you actually show up for, and even the hard stuff too. And I think the most important first step is just paying attention, actually noticing your life as it's happening, not waiting for some future version of it to arrive.
Well said. And I'd add one more thing. I think the fact that you're even asking this question, what makes my life meaningful, is already a sign that you care. And caring is honestly where I think meaning begins. You can't have a meaningful life accidentally. You have to care enough to look for it.
And before we let you go, we want to leave you with one small thing to sit with. And if you want a bit of extra English practice, try saying your answer out loud. What is one thing in your life right now that gives you a sense of meaning? It doesn't have to be big, just what is it for you? We really hope you take a moment with that. And on that note, we should probably let you go, but we hope this conversation gave you something genuine to carry with you. Maybe something to bring up with a friend, or just something to quietly think about the next time you have a moment to yourself.
And if you want to keep the conversation going, leave us a comment, share this episode with someone you think would love it, and come back next time. We've got a lot more real conversations coming your way.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us on Let's Talk Real English. It genuinely means the world. I'm Lara.
And I'm Eric. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we'll see you in the next one.